days, if you're using a modern system, the doctor will get a little note written by AI describing what the purpose of the appointment. And then that note will have your latest lab tests, so the doctor's prepared when they meet with the patient. The AI will actually listen to the conversation between the doctor and the patient and make recommendations and improve the likelihood that the patient's going to get a high quality of care. It's easier for the doctor. It's better outcomes for the patient. It's really a revolution in medicine. It's a revolution in many other industries as well. Medicine just touches us all.
Hundreds of millions of people using these tools today. It'll go to billions. People are using it and really dependent on for all sorts of great things in their lives. Like any new technology, we do have to put some rails on it. You can imagine ways it could go wrong. But if you look at the safety record, what we've been able to ship so far, what I think we'll be able to do in the future, the benefits of this tremendously outweigh the downsides. We have to be responsible how we do this. We have to build it carefully. But I think people are really good and people will do, on balance, incredible things with this technology. The scale of this investment obviously is huge. What I think that says about the likely progress of the technology, at least what all of us believe, is correspondingly huge. But I have enormous faith we'll figure it out.
The data center we're building will be the largest computer ever built, which enables this AI, which will allow personalized medicine. This is going to touch all of us. Yes, it takes a huge investment, but the result of the investment will be vaccines that prevent cancers, personalized medicine where we never again run into a problem like COVID-19 because we had an early warning. We know when COVID starts, when there are a handful of patients, rather than having to wait until it's become an epidemic and very difficult to control. This is a very large investment that affects all of humanity.
Stargate is a massive new AI infrastructure project that brings together President Donald Trump, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, Oracle's Larry Ellison, and OpenAI's Sam Altman. They're committing $500 billion over 4 years to build data centers, supercomputers, and the core tech needed to push AI to its next frontier. Here's how it all unfolds and why it could reshape the industry. So, yesterday, January 21st, 2025, President Trump held a press briefing at the White House joined by Son, Ellison, and Altman to announce a massive private sector investment aimed at building the largest AI infrastructure project in history by far. Called Stargate, it kicks off with an initial $100 billion with plans to grow to $500 billion over the next 4 years. The clear message: America is doubling down on AI to stay ahead in the global race, particularly against competitors like China. Now, why do we need so much infrastructure for AI? Well, these advanced models like ChatGPT or any giant language model require insane amounts of computing power. That means data centers, specialized chips, huge water resources for cooling, and tons of electricity. Sam Altman has been pushing for expanded AI infrastructure for a while, claiming the U.S. risks losing its edge if it doesn't ramp up capacity. By bringing Oracle, SoftBank, and others on board, Stargate aims to build new facilities across the country, starting in Texas. Ellison says they already have about 10 data centers under construction there, including a massive 1 million square foot facility. The job numbers are big too. Trump says it'll create 100,000 jobs right away, with more added later. People are drawing comparisons to older announcements, like the 2017 Foxconn deal that promised a $10 billion Wisconsin complex, but ended up shrinking drastically. So there's some skepticism. Still, Foxconn left behind a major data hub that Microsoft uses, so maybe not a total bust. This time around, the players Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI come from the AI and enterprise data world directly, so a lot of insiders think Stargate really will become the next big thing. But why is President Trump so interested in this? One huge factor is competition with China. The administration wants to ensure America doesn't fall behind in crucial AI tech, which influences everything from healthcare and finance to military capabilities. In fact, Sam Altman mentioned that advanced AI might soon help cure diseases at an unprecedented rate. Altman also thinks it's essential for the U.S. to produce advanced chips on its own soil instead of depending on foreign factories. There's also been buzz in tech circles about a story from just a few days ago regarding H-1B visa policy changes, which could be another piece of the puzzle. While details are still emerging, sources suggest the administration may be looking to streamline H-1B approvals, especially for specialized AI and data center roles. Some speculate that this might be a push to bring in more Indian workers, a group historically dominant in the H-1B visa category, thereby staffing up these massive AI projects quickly. Observers note that SoftBank has previously invested heavily in Indian tech startups, while Oracle and other enterprise giants have large operations in India. It's not far-fetched to think this renewed H-1B focus could be linked to Stargate's need for a massive, specialized workforce. Critics argue it could be a way for companies to tap cheaper foreign labor, but supporters see it as a practical move to fill urgent talent gaps and ensure the U.S. remains the epicenter of AI development. This remains a hot butter issue that could evolve as Stargate ramps up. Now, the official structure of Stargate looks like this. SoftBank and OpenAI take the lead, with SoftBank holding the main financial responsibility and OpenAI directing operational decisions. Masayoshi-san is Stargate's chairman, while Oracle, NVIDIA, ARM, Microsoft, and MGX are also big partners. Oracle will build and operate much of the underlying system, tapping into its massive experience as a data center provider. NVIDIA, of course, brings the GPU muscle that large AI models need. Microsoft is still in the picture, but there's a new twist. Microsoft used to be the exclusive provider of new AI capacity for OpenAI, but that exclusivity's been loosened so OpenAI can work with Oracle and others for this massive build. Microsoft still has a right of first refusal, meaning if OpenAI needs more capacity, Microsoft can step in first. But OpenAI is free to expand if Microsoft doesn't want to or can't handle it all. On top of that, the White House is rolling back an executive order from former President Joe Biden that was meant to regulate AI risks. The idea is to loosen some constraints so the Stargate project doesn't get bogged down. This is a point of controversy. Some say we need more oversight, not less. But the administration's argument is that to beat China, we need to move fast, then figure out regulation afterward. Larry Ellison made a statement during the press briefing that AI holds incredible promise for all of us. Sam Altman called this the most important project of this era. They both emphasized national security as well as technological leadership. Trump jumped in to say the best minds and biggest investors need to keep this in the U.S. He also repeated his belief that this deal will bring hundreds of thousands of new jobs, not just in tech, but also in areas like construction, utility management, and even transportation. Now, let's pivot briefly to a related story. Rice University in Houston is looking to approve a new AI major for undergraduates by fall 20-5. The faculty will vote on it February 5th, and the Department of Computer Science wants to carve out a distinct Bachelor of Science in AI. Why? Enrollment in AI courses is skyrocketing. For instance, there's a graduate-level deep learning class, Comp 666, that has 35 undergraduates out of 140 total students. Rice would join other universities like Carnegie Mellon, UPenn, and MIT that have recognized AI as a discipline in its own right. This lines up perfectly with the big push to train more AI talent for projects like Stargate. Now, if we circle back to the broader implications, the entire point of Stargate seems to be twofold. First, outpace China's efforts in AI by building epic-scale data facilities here in the U.S. And second, create a strategic cushion to protect national security. The thinking is that if you control the data centers, you control the future of AI. In a white paper, OpenAI pointed out that around $175 billion is apparently sitting around in various global funds, ready to be invested in AI initiatives. If the US doesn't reel in that money, it might go to China-backed projects, potentially boosting the Chinese Communist Party's technological reach. That's why the White House is so gung-ho about clearing any red tape. Historically, new presidents have made splashy announcements about major companies investing in American industry. Some have fizzled, but some end up partially successful. This time, the sheer scale of the data center push suggests it might be different. Oracle is a big name in enterprise tech. SoftBank has poured billions into everything from tech startups to robotics, and OpenAI is arguably the leading AI research lab right now with models like ChatGPT that have captured the world's attention. One last note, while Microsoft isn't the only cloud provider for OpenAI now, it's still deeply entwined. They made a big statement saying that the core aspects of their partnership are unchanged. Microsoft retains an exclusive license to the OpenAI API on Azure and can keep integrating AI features into products like Microsoft Copilot. At the same time, Microsoft gets first crack at providing extra capacity, so it's not like they're being cut out of the deal. They just aren't the sole provider going forward. The bottom line is that Microsoft is still heavily involved but with the kind of money Stargate is throwing around, they can't realistically handle it all themselves. If you're watching this and thinking, all right, but how quickly will we see results? We don't have an exact timeline, but they've already started building out in Texas, so it's not just talk. Construction is underway. Altman, Sun, and Ellison all say we'll start seeing job creation almost immediately. We'll see how everything shakes out over time, but it's a major moment for AI in America. The hope is that it'll lead to breakthroughs in healthcare, maybe those disease cures Altman hinted at, finance, self-driving cars, robotics, and basically any industry that harnesses large-scale AI. In short, if you're into AI, data centers, or major tech developments, this is the story to watch. The scale is colossal, the money's huge, and some of the biggest names in tech and politics are behind it. Plus, with Rice and other universities stepping up AI education, it feels like the US is setting the stage for a massive AI-driven transformation. That's the big picture on Stargate, a $500 billion bet on America's AI future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it too ambitious or exactly what we need right now? And how do you feel about the regulatory side being loosened? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives on AI and tech, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Trump's second day in office, he announced Project Stargate, a $500 billion joint venture introducing a new cast of characters. Larry Ellison's Oracle, Sam Altman's OpenAI, SoftBank, and MGX to construct an AI infrastructure over the next 4 years, with an eye toward reindustrialization of the United States and strengthening of national defense. Project Stargate was described by Trump as an emergency to keep AI development within the United States. But within the same breath, it was sold to us as a revolutionary step in healthcare, developing personalized cancer mRNA vaccines where they're utilizing the artificial intelligence to detect cancer through these early blood tests, then designing an individualized mRNA vaccine within 48 hours to cure that cancer.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours.
I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease.
The first data centers are actually under construction in Texas already, and we'll be turning them over to Sam to start training their next model. But the result of the investment will be vaccines that prevent cancers, personalized medicine, where we never again run into a problem like COVID-19 before.
Now, Operation Warp Speed 2.0, renewed for Season 2, wouldn't be so alarming if all of us didn't have COVID PTSD. A reported 5 billion people were coerced and forced under threat of losing their jobs to take this experimental vaccine. And of course, if you had a bad reaction to the shot, well, sorry y'all, you're out of luck. Vaccine companies cannot be held liable from an act passed in 1986. Even so, both Kansas and Texas have active lawsuits out against mRNA COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers because of their misleading pitches, their purposeful hiding of risks, and attempts to censor public discourse about these risks. They're dirty dogs. So needless to say, I felt like a little deflated balloon dejectedly circling around the room as I watched this announcement on day 2 of the Trump presidency. It was all going so great. We were doing so good. Then we got this. With an initial investment of $100 billion to start building massive data centers under SoftBank's financial support and OpenAI's operational responsibility, Project Stargate reportedly seeks to generate hundreds of thousands of American jobs, after we've just been told for years and years that AI was going to replace all of our jobs. Remember? It should be noted, because it is of interest actually, Project Stargate was a CIA program from the 1970s to 1995 which explored psychic abilities, especially remote viewing for military intelligence, which I guess is in this application kind of predictive programming for the surveillance state grid. This CIA program aimed at gathering information targets through psychic means, but was officially deemed ineffective and closed in 1995. Well, I don't need to be able to remote view CIA agents in their underwear to know that the majority of U.S. big tech is founded and funded by the CIA. In-Q-Tel is the CIA's venture capital arm, which was established to invest in technology companies to advance national security interests. And it has a neat little way of giving the illusion of a privately owned company through shadow corporation purchases, but whoop-de-doo, the tea leaves actually reveal its government intelligence.
With the help of the spirit and my tarot cards, I can see your life even more clearly than you can yourself.
Funnily enough, with Oracle being the database and software portion of this Project Stargate endeavor, under the leadership of tribe member 80-year-old Larry Ellison, looking very young there, by the way, the CIA was actually Larry's first customer. Can you believe that? We're all shocked. The Oracle Corporation was founded in 1977 and named after a CIA project code named Oracle. Oracle Corporation was christened thus as it was the code name of a CIA project that all three original founders worked on when at the Amex Corporation, end quote. But I'll read from another article over here, quote, a quarter century later, close to a quarter of the company's revenue, $2.5 billion a year, still comes from selling software to federal, state, and local agencies. Oracle wouldn't exist if it weren't for government contracts, said Mike Wilson, author of the book, The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison, end quote. And ding, 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 breaking news, Justin. The Trump administration is in talks to have Oracle and U.S. investors take over TikTok, per NPR. I thought it was going to be Meta, but it says that under the deal now being negotiated by the White House, TikTok's China-based owner ByteDance would retain a minority stake in the company, but the app's algorithm, data collection, and software updates would be overseen by Oracle. And I'm just going to say that would be super interesting because court documents also revealed that Larry Ellison is a part owner of X as well. I don't know about you, but I like all my spyware American. You know they make all that fentanyl over there in China. I don't really know what voice I did just then, but I was going for Sean Hannity. Also, back to weird coincidences with the CIA's original Project Stargate. The actual definition of an oracle is a person or thing considered to provide insight, wise counsel, or prophetic predictions, most notably including precognition of the future inspired by the gods or deities. The oracle's words are those of the gods, or somebody really wants you to think so. And combined with artificial intelligence, well, we got a situation on our hands, internet friends. The message from Oracle's gods is actually directly from the mouth of your sleep paralysis demon.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
But over a long period of time, I still expect that there will be some change required to the social contract, given how powerful we expect this technology to be. I'm not a believer that there won't be any jobs. I think we always find new things to do, but I do think like the whole structure of society itself will, be up for some degree of debate and reconfiguration. The whole structure of society itself will, be up for some degree of debate and reconfiguration.
And I have to wonder, is Project Stargate really about national security and curing cancer, or is it really about the surveillance state and control? So Sam Altman is the other tribe character I want to get into here, and he might be serving as like a good cop, bad cop sort of guy, sort of character. Sam Altman runs OpenAI, the company that narrowly avoided being ousted by a whistleblower who might or might not have killed himself. The jury's still out on that one. The investigation's still ongoing. And Altman is in charge of a super AI database along with Oracle for this Project Stargate. Sam Altman's sister, Anne, has filed a lawsuit alleging he regularly sexually abused her between 1997 and 2006, though Sam Altman has denied these claims. Also, Sam Altman has been openly anti-Trump since 2016. He has a bajillion tweets saying so, and he also allegedly funded Axios, a media outlet supremely critical of Trump. And he did this through his OpenAI corporation. There are also allegations that Altman, with his connection to Reid Hoffman, a known supporter of lawfare against Trump, might be influencing political discourse through financial backing of media entities.
Does it bother you that Elon Musk criticized a deal that you made publicly, that you said that he tweeted that?
No, it doesn't. He hates one of the people in the deal.
Have you spoken to him since then?
No. I've spoken to Elon, but I've spoken to all of them, actually. No, the people in the deal are very, very smart people. But Elon, one of the people he happens to hate, but I have certain hatreds of people, too.
So the AI portion of Project Stargate is obviously Sam Altman's OpenAI. And in one paragraph, we've established that Altman is morally gray at best. You know, there's an obvious need for scrutiny with these tech industry leaders as they intermingle with politics and policy and healthcare under the guise of helping. These are salesmen developing the diagnostics and developing the cure. So they tell you you're sick through a blood test that they sell, and then they sell you the answer. And I'm speculating here, but with Sam Altman being such a villain, I have to wonder if we're not just corralling him so other countries can't use his product. But then again, I have questions about the overhype of AI anyway. I made a video about it years ago. But just the other day, I was on the Kate Daly radio show, which I've been on most weeks on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And she was telling me about these Amazon stores, which were marketed under the Just Walk Out AI technology, where it's essentially a grocery store with artificial intelligence and no checkout registers. So you just get your items and you walk out, no need to get out money or your debit card. You just walk out with your groceries and the AI deducts your purchase from your bank account. Okay, well, it turns out it wasn't AI at all. No, it was actually about 1,000 Indian employees looking at you through a camera. The whole pitch is that the US should be the AI leader of the world. We should dominate that space. But I can't help but think there is something super stinky about all of this. It just sounds very familiar. It sounds like a plot thought up by the Bill Gates military-industrial Bain & Company complex. It sounds like they had this idea, this technology ready and waiting to go. After all, who has the infrastructure to manufacture these vaccines? Didn't Bill Gates, among others, just build these factories for vaccine production during COVID under the guise of saving humanity? But he financially profited bigly. And to add insult to injury, just announced the other day, Gates had sat down with Trump for a 3-hour lunch.
Have you met with Donald Trump since the election?
Yeah, I had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with him.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. I felt like he was, energized and, looking forward to helping to drive innovation. I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
Honestly, if Bill Gates had gotten up there on day 2 of the Trump administration and announced cancer mRNA vaccines, I think we would have actually seen riots, because everyone hates him, obviously. But with this new cast of characters, I'm not so sure. And it's all about what's not being said. That's the big issue for me. What is causing the rise in cancer? Why are companies continuing to sell products that are known carcinogens? What are they not telling us? What do you think?
But so many of them and some of the interests we're dealing with believe that the way to re-engineer things is to bring total chaos. And I was talking with someone who is very influential and powerful the other day, and they were talking about what was happening in Syria would help the interests of freedom, because chaos ultimately would serve the interests of freedom.
Yeah.
Which is, I've heard that theory a million times. As far as I can tell, it's never worked once. So, what you do is you basically slaughter the productive and you encourage the unproductive. And that generally never gets you anywhere.
The other part of it is, we hate the state, we hate the state, we hate the state. But the quiet part of that conversation is, but boy, do we love those sovereign powers. And boy, would we like to use those for our own benefit, not for your benefit.
Well, here's the thing. They're all financed by the state. In other words, they're vacuum cleaning the state credit and the state treasury, and they're using the state to launder all the money out of the pension funds to give to them. But they don't want to pay taxes, they don't want to contribute to the state, and they don't want to respect the rule of law that is behind collecting all those taxes and credit for them.
Hey, what else they don't want? They don't want any transparency at all. They want to work in the dark and use your sovereign powers, because those powers belong to we the people under the Constitution, but they just want to use those powers for themselves and put a curtain over what they're doing, not let you, the serf, see anything.
Right. Now, it's marketing, though. It's very important that they always have a marketing pitch that describes why this is helping people.
Oh, yeah.
So example, we have Trump with Larry Ellison and Sam Altman at the White House announcing a $500 billion Stargate program. And the whole idea is it's going to help end disease for the average American person. And when you listen to it, no, it's going to provide massive taxpayer money working through government contracts, making it look like a private investment, which it's not. It's coming from the taxpayer. And what it's going to do is it's going to fund and build data centers all over the country through the contractors who now have the big contracts at the intelligence agencies and DOD that will be the backbone of the control grid.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is spun according to what's good for people. And the lie in it is, if you look at what they're proposing to do with mRNA technology, it's basically you're going to use poison to address, the poisoning that the last vaccines gave you. So it's literally it's a progressive poisoning model. It's basically Operation Warp Speed 2.0 is air cover for building the control grid.
Yeah, the poison spiral begins.
Right. So Kennedy has to go into his confirmation hearing probably before the end of the month, when Trump has just announced a $500 billion investment in mRNA technology.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow, $500 billion.
$500 billion. How are you going to handle that one? The refiners fire people on all sides of that discussion are going to come out of the woodwork, and we're going to have a huge... This is going to be a hell of a discussion.
We'll see. My guess is that he pitches it as, well, we just need to perfect the vaccines. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. We just need to improve quality control.
Right, but if he does that, there's a whole world of people who truly want to stop the great poisoning, who will completely walk away from him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right. I don't know what's going to happen. If you look at what he did on Bitcoin bailout, for all I know, he's going to embrace mRNA technology.